Mixed martial arts.
Better known as UFC. No.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, it's MMA. It's this. UFC sits under the umbrella. But a lot of people, like, go get me a Kleenex.
Yeah.
It's no. Go get me some Pampers.
Yeah.
No.
That's
not it.
They have definitely got the brand. They have got the brand. And so that's what we're going to talk about.
And they potentially could be putting on one of the biggest cards in UFC history.
Yes.
Now, we're in the middle of August.
So,
this isn't going to happen till December.
And talking about it would be UFC 194, right?
Right. And if they pull this off and everyone stays healthy, could be the best card in UFC.
Especially for at the time. Like, I mean, when George and I talk about these cards, like we were talking about UFC 100 at the time was huge when Brock Lesnar fought Frank Mir, and Brock Lesnar was the big thing in MMA, and Dan Henderson and Michael Bisping were at each other's throats, and everybody wanted to see that fight.
And GSP,
he was fighting Thiago Alves, and he was the upcoming, guy. That was a huge card back then. But now, and especially in these cards over the last 2 or 3 years, where the cards have just had one, maybe two decent fights on them. They're so thin, and there's so many cards. This could be a good card.
Yeah.
This could be crazy. And so we wanted to talk about that shit. I guess that's what we wanted to talk about a little bit more in depth about what could potentially happen for this card they're looking at in the beginning of December and billing it as UFC 194.
I mean, you would start off, this is off of Alistair Overeem's Twitter account, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a picture off his account. That's all I'm going off of. Mm-hmm. And the first fight of the night would be...
On the main card.
Would be JDS versus Alistair Overeem.
Which is a great fight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because they're slugging.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But then then after that, you get a middleweight bout of Jacare Souza versus Romero, which is number 2 and 3 in the weight class.
Right.
That's what I mean. Like, when I watch these fight cards, I want these fights to mean something. Okay, number 2 versus number 9. Number 2's got more to lose.
Right.
Because if Alistair Overeem fucking cornholes this dude at 2, that catapults him up the rankings.
Right.
2 versus 3, that's a good matchup. I want to see that.
I want to see that. It's a good fight. And then sometimes, to take it a step further, sometimes we're seeing 5 and 6 versus somebody we don't even know. And these are cards these are bouts that we see on the undercard or fucking on the Facebook card and shit like that. So, I mean, it got kind of crazy over the last 24 months. And so now, seeing that they potentially could have something like this, that could be crazy.
Right. But that's just the first 2 fights.
That's the first 2.
Now, this is, I'd have to say, unprecedented. They have it set up where you're going to have 3 title fights in one night.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because, that's just, you're looking at what, 50? You're looking at 70, potentially 75 minutes of just fighting if all those go the distance.
Right.
That's not counting. This, literally, you could be there till 2 o'clock in the morning.
You could be, and we probably will be.
I don't think so.
No, because the first 2 are going to be good.
No, this one might be the only one that goes the distance.
Yeah.
Which is TJ Dillashaw versus potentially Dominic Cruz.
And so
that probably could go the distance.
Yeah.
And that, I think, would be an action-packed, very high-tempo, exciting fight to watch.
Now, if that was to happen, I know we're not going to talk about winners and stuff like this. Do you think he's going to... Dominic Cruz has been
It's been a long time for him. And especially to fight at this top level.
Yeah, and Dillashaw's look nasty. Now,
there's rumors flying around about this next fight. So again, what we say today might not be what happens in December.
Now, obviously, Ronda Rousey has gone through everybody.
Twice.
She's
sometimes 3 times.
3 times, and she's doing it in the first round. And her last opponent, she basically beat the shit out of her, literally.
Yes.
And so now
that was Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But now, it's funny because the question is who can she face?
According to this, it's Miesha Tate. That would be the 3rd time. According to that,
right here,
could be different.
And this is coming from the mouth of Tito Ortiz, who's
which you can probably take with a grain of salt.
Right, and he's, if you guys aren't familiar with it, at one point in time, he managed, and he manages, Christine Cyborg.
Used to.
Yeah. And so he's still good friends with her, keeps in touch with her, and he's saying that, hey, they've sat there and said that they want to put her on this card that's going to be held at Texas Stadium, at AT&T Stadium. That's the card we're talking about right now. And she's accepted it, but what Dana White has said to her is that he doesn't want to just take a chance on Cyborg not being able to make it down to 135. In the current, organization she's fighting for right now, Invicta, she's got to make 135 and fight a fight at 135 and obviously win that fight. And then he says, okay, he'd think about putting her in that card. And now it would just be in Rousey's corner to say, hey, we want to take that.
Well, it's funny because she just fought, I think, less than a month ago and absolutely destroyed whoever she fought. It wasn't at 35.
It was at 45.
And Invicta is owned by UFC.
Right.
UFC is the parent, bought them and owns them. So, in all honesty, look, that ship, I don't want to say it sailed, but it's the idea of, and the other big rumor is like bringing Fedor in. Look, I'm sorry, I don't want to see Fedor fight anyone in the UFC. I don't care. That shit, that's gone. It's done. It's over. I think Cyborg's window to fight Rousey is closed.
Yeah.
I don't think she can beat her.
Yeah, and
even
I think
35 or 40 or 45.
Right, and I think everybody at this point in time just wants to see somebody to compete against Ronda Rousey,
and it's not even close.
It's not even close. Like Cyborg was, she
jacked up on shit.
Yeah, and she was jacked up on shit and fought to Gina Carano, and Gina Carano hung in there with her for a while. Okay.
Yeah, about the first 18 seconds.
Yeah.
Because second 19 through the rest of the fight, that shit was a wrap. But when you got a woman injecting male hormones,
no, you have a guy. You had it right the first time. Go ahead.
I'm being fair with so much that's changed over that landscape here in our country, and I don't say in the last 3 months.
Right.
I'm going to call it what it is. It's a female injecting male hormones.
Right.
That's what it is. She's a woman. She is a woman. It's not like your girl Caitlyn.
Right.
Who, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it gave her a very unfair advantage.
It gave her an unfair advantage, and we have to remember that she fought at 145. Now she's going to be a drug-free Cyborg, and she's going to have to
suck 10 pounds.
Suck 10 more pounds. So that's what everybody has to realize. She's sucking to get down to 145. Now she's got to suck weight. Anybody who knows about sucking weight, add Chad Mendes. When he had to do it just recently when he fought.
Yeah, he had to suck off 20 pounds. And I'm going to tell you what, that's the worst I've ever seen Chad Mendes cardiovascular-wise.
Yeah, you lose your win.
I think a lot of it didn't help with that opening spin kick, but we're going to talk about the 189 card. Because that right now, best card of the year with possibly one of the best fights I've seen in the last 5 years.
Right.
With that Lawler fight.
Now, let's get back to this one.
Yeah. So anyway, right now, today, this has Ronda Rousey versus Miesha Tate in December. Could it be Cyborg? It might be. Maybe someone gets hurt. I don't. For some reason, I find it amazing that Ronda Rousey is one of the few champions who never gets hurt outside of the ring. She doesn't get hurt. She's not in the ring long enough to get hurt.
She's like JJ Watt.
She's never pulled out of a title fight. Mm-hmm. She's never missed weight. She's never had any reason not to fight. Mm-hmm. I think there's some other paper champions who need to look at her and realize, what is she doing that's so much different? How's her training different than all these other guys who keep getting hurt and keep pulling out of fights, Jose Aldo? Mm-hmm. Nice segue, because the main fight on this card for UFC 194 would be Jose Aldo versus the interim champ, Conor McGregor.
Right. And that brought us into a lot of things that we discussed before the camera came on about Conor McGregor and his fight with Chad Mendes, and the fact that Chad Mendes had to suck all that weight, and how the fact that Uriah Faber is, I will give this to Conor McGregor. He's like, I'm not going to sit on the shelf. I'll fight.
Right, and I like that.
I do. I like that too about him.
Conor McGregor's currently filming the Tough House against Uriah Faber. Normally they match up, but that's not going to happen because they're saving Conor McGregor for December. It completely makes sense. Uriah Faber got interviewed by a gentleman there, and he sat there and they asked, does Conor McGregor really think, what's he think about that fight? And Uriah Faber straight up said he's delusional. He thinks that he dominated Chad Mendes from opening bell to the end of that fight, and he has no holes in his game. And
if
Faber,
he thinks that, he is delusional because he didn't dominate him.
No.
Yeah.
And Faber said, look, I remember what it was like to be 26. He's like, that kind of talk doesn't work with me now. I'm not worried about it. I fought 30 fights. He goes, I hope he thinks that. Because if he thinks that, he's got huge gaping holes in his fight game, and we'll take advantage of it. And Chad Mendes won't lose the next one. Mm-hmm. And I think if you give Chad Mendes the right amount of camp, I'm not sure if he wins that. And if he does, it's going to be a really ugly, boring fight, like that first round.
Yeah.
That first round, he just held Conor down. Conor couldn't get up.
Yeah.
Conor was upset and frustrated, and you could see that in the first round, because he couldn't get up. But watching Jose Aldo fight Conor McGregor will look nothing like the Chad Mendes versus McGregor fight.
He'll hit you with those legs. He's got some. I don't know. You know what I'm curious to see? Who has the longer reach between McGregor and Aldo?
I want to say Aldo. I mean, not Aldo. McGregor. I think McGregor's
because Aldo looks. McGregor looks really lengthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He does. I think they're both 5'8".
McGregor's got a 74-inch reach.
And he's 5'9", with the 74-inch reach. So let's see what Aldo is, because
he uses the reach well. He uses his length well, meaning Conor McGregor. He uses all that to his 70.
Yeah. And he's 2 inches short. He's only 5'7".
Yeah.
So McGregor will go in there 2 inches taller with 4 more inches of reach.
That's going to cause Aldo some problems. But the thing is, Aldo's not going to stand in front of McGregor like Mendes did.
Yeah.
So now we're going. So that's the December card. Could look amazing. Mm-hmm. The most recent card that both Kevin and I watched was UFC 189, and I'm sorry, best card of the year, hands down.
Unbelievable.
And for me, that Lawler McDonald fight might have been easily in my top 5 in the last, could be decade.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was such an amazing fight.
It was a really good fight. Yeah. It's. I mean, look at that shit.
You went into the last round of the fight with Lawler decisively down. Lawler had to end that fight as the champion to get his belt back, or to hold on to his belt. And he did what he had to do.
Yeah.
He found a way to do it, and what was it, about the third round, he looked like he was done.
Yeah.
Like, tap out. And that's one thing you have to love about Robbie Lawler.
I kept saying, man, I kept going, unless he's out cold, he's like Scott Smith. Remember Scott Smith?
He's like the Terminator.
Yeah.
He's like that liquid Terminator. You need to put his pieces. I mean, he was amazing. But that whole card, like if you paid for that card, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Knockout, submission, TKO, submission. 3 decisions. I mean, all the decisions came on the undercard, which is fine. Yeah. And then it started with that Matt Brown submission, and it just got better. It was such a good card.
Yeah,
and look,
Almeida knocking out Brad Pickett with a flying knee. I mean, there was a lot of good things on that card if you think about it. The main card was just action.
Yeah, and look, we've been pretty critical of the UFC and the fight cards they've put together, and we've been critical of watching a fight go to the decision. Mm-hmm. And there's a difference between a wrestler going to a decision and like a technical back and forth grappling match that goes to a decision. Mm-hmm. I don't want to watch Chad Mendes lay on anybody ever. I didn't like it when GSP did it. Yeah. I'd rather watch something like we saw where Conor McGregor had to fight to win that, and it looked like Chad Mendes hit a wall.
And I think when you have these cards where it's a lot of action and other fighters know that, hey, this is going to be a highly viewed card. You know what I mean? The main event wasn't even the championship fight. If you think about it, I mean, Conor McGregor fought Chad Mendes. That's
for an interim belt.
For an interim belt. And, Robbie Lawler was the champion at the welterweight, and he was fighting, Roy McDonald. But it wasn't the last fight of the night.
No, and so many people were tuning in for the Conor McGregor fight.
They were. And the people if you're fighting on that card, if you're on the main event, you're like, hey man, this is my time to fucking put on the show.
You would hope. Yeah. That mentality you hope gets transmitted through. Mm-hmm. Did you ever notice that, is that camouflage?
What do you mean camouflage, man?
Like you're blending in with the bookcase.
Why do you keep saying that shit?
Anyone else notice the bookcase is empty? Anyone else?
This motherfucker, man. This is the kind of shit I deal with all the time. Talking about my empty ass Burt. That the only empty
ass Burt case? The fuck is a Burt case? You got a Burt case? I don't know what a Burt case is. Do tell.
And then when I said the last video, I said, do tell. And then I go, hey man, I don't care about my bookcase because I wrote a book. And you go, you sure you didn't have a ghostwriter?
Exactly.
Motherfucker asked me, did I have a ghostwriter?
So yes, we're back. We can't promise
the ghostwriter. Okay. Pen was upside down, homie.
See, I was getting ready to tell these people we're back filming.
Oh, we are back.
Yes. And you're black.
We're back. Or brown. Want to see me disappear real quick? Okay. So anyway,
but you know what's changed between February and today in August since our last video in the UFC landscape, in my opinion? Not much.
No.
You got Conor McGregor, who's Chael Sonnen but can win.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, that fight style is not conducive to long-term health. I'm gonna stand in front of you and let people hit me.
Right.
Like you don't.
Yeah.
Like that is cute. It sells tickets. It's going to get people to sign in to watch it and pay money to watch you get beat.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get beat, you have to understand you're done.
Yeah.
No one's going to tune in anymore. All that shit talking.
I 100% agree with you. I mean, on other things, nothing has changed in the landscape of people having a credible opponent go up against Ronda Rousey
and get destroyed. Ronda Rousey will possibly go down as the most dominant MMA fighter of all time.
Yeah.
Now you can change that to female because. But the thing is also the one thing I really hope people take into account when you say that 10 years down the road is you have to look at the quality of people she's facing. Yeah. And I'm not taking anything away from the people that she's facing, but she is that far above. And like Kevin alluded to earlier, she was beating people with an armbar. Now she's gotten better.
Yeah.
So
how do you expect? I mean, she was beating the whole crop of MMA, of your best female MMA fighters in the world with one move. She was fucking judo tossing your ass around and throwing you in an arm bar, and you're like, I'm going to tap before she fucking breaks my arm. Now, 3 years later, She knows how to fucking punch. She knows how to box. She knows how to do Muay Thai. Her skill set is only improving.
Right.
So how the fuck do you beat her if you couldn't beat her before?
She's gonna retire and go be a movie star.
Now, the question is this.
What?
Everybody always used to ask, where the fuck is Waldo? Where the fuck is Jon Jones?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
If you look it up, it's funny because I googled
That
it.
motherfucker's on milk cartons.
A day ago, he's giving an inspirational speech to some kids, and there might have been 20 people there. There might have been 20 people in that video, and I'm just like, when his manager said he legitimately might never fight again, I was like, whatever.
Mm-hmm. He might have another plan. You know, some people just say, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm going to retire. I wouldn't even have to retire because he was gone, undefeated.
Whoa. Don't you do that. He was not undefeated.
Well, there was one person that beat him,
Yep.
Matt Hamill.
Mm-hmm.
The Hammer Hamill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Greatest 205er ever.
Yeah. He beat him. Now,
Never heard it
but
coming.
think about this. I'm Jon Jones because I'm the black guy. And you're Dana White.
Why can't I be
because
Matt Hamill?
You're the bald, stupid white guy. Okay? Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry. But I'm not much more smart. I just ran a red light. I'm not much more smarter because I can't talk, and I just ran a red light and clipped somebody. I better not stay around. I better leave. So I'm Jon Jones. But you sit there, and what's going on in the light heavyweight division? Not much, right? And it's going to get boring real quick. It's already getting boring, and it's only been 2 or 3 months. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to be like, see how boring it gets. And let's see who the next guy that's going to come up in this division look really good. And then I'm going to be like, you want to reinstate me, Dana? It's going to cost a lot of fucking money.
And it might be out of his, though. It might be the athletic commissions. I don't think he's suspended by the UFC. I think he's going to be... Didn't he get suspended by the athletic commissions? Because he's got to go back and get his license.
Yeah,
or was it the UFC that suspended him?
UFC suspended him. But, I mean, he can get his license. Come on, man. Floyd Mayweather beats up people and gets his license.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, yeah. But the bottom line is we know that he can fight. He did something he can apply. He'll get his license.
Yeah, but
There's
I mean,
people
you
that
don't
done a lot worse.
even hear anything about the legal proceedings on that. Like, we're getting no information about Jon Jones about that at all. And I find that hilarious. Not hilarious, but it's strange in this day and age where, motherfucker, you can get information about shit that literally just happened.
Right.
Just happened. Like, we get information that quick.
I
This
think-
Jon Jones shit is buried. Everyone, it's just, the court systems aren't talking about it. The media's not talking about it.
Because, I mean, honestly,
Is nothing else going on in New Mexico?
The bottom line is that you and I could go out and do this and no one would think twice about it. Wouldn't be a big deal. We left or whatever, and then if we came back and admitted it's a hit and run, it's bad. But there's a million hit and runs each day throughout the United States. It just happened to be Jon Jones. TMC got it, which is boom, that blew it up, and then it fucking caught on like a wildfire. But it's not like he went out and did some shit like the one guy who beat up his girlfriend and acted crazy as shit and almost killed her, and then, you know, and did some other crazy, outrageous bullshit. It was it bad that he left the scene? Yeah, but it wasn't something that he purposely did. It was just, he didn't go out purposely, you know, I'm gonna get fucked up and run into a motherfucker. He didn't purposely do it.
Yeah, but that shady shit afterwards about running away, coming back, getting your shit and running away again.
Yeah, no, that was purposely done because
That's-
he was trying to protect himself, but he was
Right.
fucked up too.
But
Yeah.
with that said, so we don't know where Jon Jones is at.
Mhm.
Ronda Rousey's dominant as ever, and Conor McGregor seems to be the face of the U.S. Ronda Rousey.
Let me
and Conor
ask you
McGregor-
this question.
Oh, okay, I had one for you, but go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Ask me that one first.
I was gonna say, what's your opinion on the UFC supposedly signing Fedor, or wanting to sign Fedor?
I mean, I think what it's telling me is this. It's telling me, look, you lost GSP, okay? You don't have anyone to fight Ronda, your superstar. Okay, you got Conor McGregor on the shelf for about 3 or 4 months until Jose Aldo gets there. Who else is big right now? You know what I'm saying?
Demetrius Johnson, but that dude gets no shine.
Right.
That dude
No
gets
shine.
nothing.
Because he's a little guy and he's born. There's no knockouts. Usually, nobody wants to see that shit. I mean, he's an incredible fighter, probably the best, most consistent fighter in MMA, male MMA right now. But you know, Jon Jones, another huge. All their stars are gone right now. Your other star, potential star, was Cain Velasquez. Now there's a mix-up in the heavyweight division. There'll be another champion in a few months again. There's no fucking dominate here.
The heavyweight class is by far the most volatile.
So now you're like, okay, I got to start bringing in names that are going to just have a following.
To ring out.
Yeah.
To get that average UFC person, to get the average MMA person. Oh, I've
People
heard of this
go
Faber.
see Faber, yeah.
Who's Faber? Wait, what? Faber?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me tell you right now, okay? Right now, today, and everybody else, if you got Chuck Liddell to come out of retirement and fight Tito Ortiz again, would you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
So would I.
I'd watch those motherfuckers roll up
Right.
in wheelchairs and beat each other to death with canes. Yeah.
You know?
But
Yeah. But that's the problem. I think you need to get people like Jon Jones, your villains, your big draws and stuff. And I think the UFC doesn't have those big draws right now. Conor McGregor is your man, and Ronda Rousey is your woman. And that's it. It stops there.
So take these cards like you're taking tonight with Glover on it, fighting OSP, and just try
Have fun with it.
Yeah, you got to push. I mean, I don't know how you light a fire under these young
Light a
kids'
fire,
ass.
put gasoline on them. Just
What I'm saying is try to get them to put on exciting shows.
Oh, yeah.
Try to get these guys to go out and finish fights. Try to get these guys where people are going, hey, did you hear about that? I couldn't tell. There's literally no one I work with that I can talk to MMA about.
It's
no
funny.
One. Like, there's no one. When you go to the gym and train your clients, when people are talking about sports, how many talk about MMA?
No, nobody talks about it.
Right. That's what the sport's missing. You're missing that water cooler talk. You're missing that thing on Fox where even when's the last time you've ever heard a woman speak about MMA?
I mean, people say, "Oh, the fight," and people now you hear women talking a little bit more about it because they hear it, or they see it because of Ronda, because of social media. I mean, and it's not like they're watching the fights or they're watching it on ESPN or anything. They're seeing all the buzz about it on social media. So like the guy who just walked in here and said, "Yeah, I heard about this woman fight. What's her name?
Don't know her name."
But you know what? It's because it's not mainstream yet.
Right.
You know?
And then here's the thing: at least he's hearing something.
Yeah.
Which is what MMA is missing.
But you know what? Nobody's hearing your mainstream people. They're hearing about Ronda, and Ronda's the biggest thing they're hearing about.
Mm-hmm. And there's guys.
Do you think they're hearing about Robbie Lawler? No one knows who the fuck Robbie Lawler is, and Robbie Lawler put on one of the best fights we've seen in years, and he's a champion. But no one's talking about because Robbie Lawler doesn't talk shit like Chael Sonnen or talk shit like Conor McGregor.
Who's the 205 champ? Let's see how many champs.
Daniel Cormier.